Hi, I'm Jennifer Hollick with Finding the Answers Journey, and it is the 8th of July 2019. And this is the Creating Your Life, Choosing You First video for this week. And gosh, it's been quite a month plus since I came to Europe, and I'm getting ready to go home. And I feel ready. I feel a lot of things actually, and I'm trying to sort that out. I've been doing a tremendous amount of journaling in my journal, and I'm more than halfway filled it at this point. And I think by the end of the month, if I keep up with the pace I've been, it's going to be filled, and I'll need a new one. So that's great. But it's helping me work through quite a lot of things right now. There are some feelings coming up since the eclipse last week, and we have another one next week, I think. Mercury's gone retrograde. A lot of other planets have gone retrograde, and the energies are very intense, asking us to look at ourselves and figure out what really needs to go and where we just aren't happy, where we're not taking care of ourselves, and what can we change. And I really feel that on so many levels. And my intuition has kicked up quite a bit in the last week, which has been interesting. The end of last week, Joanne and I decided we would go to Narda, where we got married. It's like 20 minutes from us, and it's a beautiful fortified village with a moat around it, and one of my favorite places to go. And I felt all morning, we had decided we'd go around lunchtime. I'd have lunch, I could take a walk and shoot some pictures, and we'd just be out of the house for a few hours, which is much better than sitting in the hospital, as we did most of my visit. And I just felt, I've got to go. We can't sit here all day. And, like I was ready to crawl in my body. I needed to go there so badly. And as I started to walk after lunch around the top of the ramparts, I saw a woman in red sitting and having lunch. And I was far enough away that she was sitting by this hill, and there were a lot of nice grasses around her and the trees and the water, and it was just gorgeous. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be a most beautiful picture. But I didn't know her, so I didn't take any pictures. But you just have those moments when you think, wow, that person or that thing is really drawing me in. Well, I kept on walking, and when I got about halfway around, I ran into her, and we started talking, and turns out we sat and talked for like 30 minutes about spirituality and healing and the books we're reading and the energetic processes that we use, and where we've both disconnected from our families to help take care of us and create our lives in a way that is needed, and where we start to shed a lot of the stuff that we've held on to for most of our lives, especially things that are toxic that's connected to our families. And it isn't just families, it's friends and colleagues and people that we've been connected to that, sometimes we just have to step back and say, okay, this doesn't work anymore, and this is not good for me. So can I be brave enough to detach and take care of me for a while and see what happens when I come out the other side? And I don't know a lot of people here in Europe that I can talk to like that, so it was really cool. And now I have a new friend that I can meet when I come back, and she also researches World War II in a different way than I do, so we have quite a lot to talk about. So that was really exciting. But beyond that feeling, and I've had that feeling a lot the last several days, I've got to get out of the house, can't sit here anymore, got to go. And then usually when I end up wherever I wanted to end up, something happens, whether I meet somebody or something's waiting for me there, or I hear messages that I wouldn't have heard sitting at home. It's just been an amazing thing. There are several words that have been coming up for me in the last week. One is discipline, one is routine, and the routine word for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years is kind of like scratching against me, inside me. Like if I try and get into any kind of routine, it's going to totally cramp my style and not let the energy flow, and it's going to make me crazy. But yet, it feels like if I can get rid of that point of view, and while I am disciplined, add another layer of that with some routine, I can change everything that I think is not working in my life that I've been frustrated with for a year or more. So I'm ready to go home and work on that and start a new chapter. And that usually happens when I leave Europe, but this time it feels like a much bigger level. And something else I've been struggling with for the last week and a half or so is I kind of felt cheated out of my summer, cheated out of being in Europe, cheated out of enjoying the nice weather, because in Chicago we've had so much rain since April, and I know that it's just continued after I left. And I felt cheated because we've spent so much time in the doctor's offices and the hospital. And it changes the whole dynamic of your relationship, and you don't get to do fun things. And, our fun things are not what they used to be either. When we go out, we go somewhere that's not too far away. Johan sits for quite a long time while I go off and explore. So while my pictures show this fantastic day we've had, he's sat by himself for quite a while, and I've wandered by myself for quite a while, which isn't totally ideal for either of us, but we've agreed that for both of us to have more of a balance and, make things work, that's what we do right now. And, as he improves, and he is improving, hopefully that will shift a little more and he'll be able to do a little more. I mean, there will always be the need to rest, I think, but at least we have the ability to get out and do some things together and make some nice memories, which is really important for us. But I'm still struggling with that feeling cheated kind of thing. Like, half the summer is over and I'm going to go home. It's going to be super hot and humid, and, I won't be in Europe. So I'm trying to work with the points of view I have around all of that and let some of them go, because I know realistically I have to adjust some of that, and some expectations that I have that are just unrealistic, that need to go, and that'll free up a lot in my universe. But those are things that I've been thinking about, journaling a lot about, and kind of struggling with. But really, I think it's good, because I'm able to honestly, talk about this with Johan and journal about it and look at where I'm functioning from and say, okay, you need to stop that already. It just doesn't work. So we'll see what happens once I go home, and what things I can change, and where things can go from here. So, as far as other things happening, I am making plans to come back in the fall, and we are looking at a trip to France, which we were kind of going to take in a different way this summer and didn't happen, but now a different kind of trip is being planned for the fall, which I'm really looking forward to, and I really feel like it's going to happen. And actually, for me, it will happen no matter what. And we're discussing what can we do and how can we make it so that we both get to enjoy it and see some things, and it doesn't completely wear Johan out. So we're really looking at a lot of that right now as we make our plans. But I think everything is going to start shifting and turning around now, and so that's really good. And I feel much more secure in all of this, and not like I want to run and never come back. I think that kind of switched a few weeks ago during the second hospital stay, or right after that one. And while there have been just a couple moments where I thought, is this right? Yeah, it's right. So I'm glad that that's kind of found some closure. But it's something that a caregiver asks themselves a lot, and I see it in the caregiver groups I'm part of on Facebook. These people talk about it very honestly. What are my other choices here? So totally normal. But I feel very good about where things are. I feel very good about the stability and the positive news that we're getting this week, and where everything's going. So let's see what else I can change and see how that affects everything else. So my invitation to you this week is to take a look at where you're functioning from, what things can you change through these eclipses and all of this crazy intense energy, and how can you make your life better. I look forward to talking to you, and see you soon.